Hey guys, my name is John, and I'm making this video to introduce an event that we have coming up. It's called the Upper Room. And I just want to take a couple minutes of your time to kind of explain what we're doing. And I want to hit a few points. So our first point that I want to make is, what is the Upper Room? It says in Acts, and let me read this for you, Acts 2, 1 through 4. When the day of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Suddenly a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting. They saw what seemed to be tongues of fire that separated and came to rest on each of them. All of them were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in tongues as the Spirit enabled them. So, the upper room we're taking in Acts, and to kind of set the background for this, this is the point at which Jesus is finally resurrected, and he spent some time with his people, and before he went up, he was telling them that the Comforter will be coming down. The upper room was the first place where the Holy Spirit fell upon man, and it was kind of manifested through the flames and the speaking of tongues. And the byproduct of that, I'm going to be reading a little bit further down in Acts in 42. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and to prayer. Everyone was filled with awe, and many wonders and miraculous signs were done by the apostles. All the believers were together and everything in common. Selling their possessions and goods, they gave to anyone as he had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all people, and the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. The byproduct of the Holy Spirit encountering them was the people began to meet in the courts, and they began to be selfless. They sold their belongings, they gave to what we needed, and they just loved each other. And they were all from different tribes, and I'm sure they all had differences, but the one thing that they had in common was the Holy Spirit. Now, how does that relate to us today? Last year, early at the beginning of 2015, God had put a vision and kind of a picture in my head called the Upper Room. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a place where believers can come together and freely move and worship in the Holy Spirit. Because I truly believe that in our generation, and as we're moving in the direction that we're going as believers, it is crucial for us to be united through the Holy Spirit. I feel like a lot of times we're very conservative about the power of the Lord and what the Holy Spirit is capable of doing. And I don't know if you guys can imagine what that would look like, but for me personally, I'm really tired of seeing churches separate. I'm really tired of seeing believers not get along because their church believes this and their church believes this. Can you imagine what it would look like if we were just a people all moving by the Holy Spirit, all gathered in one place to worship in one accord because we're worshiping the same God? Different denominations coming together to glorify the same God. I think that's just the most amazing sight. And the upper room is the vision that God had placed for that. Is we just want to create a place where you can come and freely move in the Holy Spirit. If you've been baptized in the Holy Spirit, if you've been filled with the Holy Spirit, if you haven't, this is for you. And we just want you to come join us and worship. My last point that I wanted to make was, why is it so important? Why is it so important for us to move by the Holy Spirit? And I want to backtrack a little bit, and I want to read from Acts chapter 1, verses 4 through 8, okay? It says, on one occasion while he was eating with them, they're talking about Jesus, right? He gave them this command: do not leave Jerusalem, but wait for the gift my Father promised, which you have heard me speak about. For John baptized with water, but in a few days you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit. So when they met together, they asked him, Lord, are you in this time going to restore the kingdom to Israel? He said to them, it is not for you to know the times or dates the Father has set by his own authority, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. And I kind of just want to read that one more time. It's 8, right? But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses. It says in Hebrews that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. You know, you think about the Old Testament and you have God the Father, right, that He would lead His people through pillars of fire and pillars of cloud, that when His prophets prayed, fire rained down from heaven, and you have all these miracle signs and wonders. You go into the New Testament and you have Jesus Christ, right, the Son of God, performing miracle signs and wonders, and raising people back to life. He's healing the sick, healing the broken. And when He goes back to heaven, He told us and He promised to wait for the one to come down, right? Because you will receive power. And that's the day and age we're living in right now. And that's the day and age of the Holy Spirit. As we go into the world and we preach to every new creature and creation the good news, we need to be filled with the Holy Spirit. When we accepted Jesus Christ into our life, the Holy Spirit entered our lives for the first time. And that's how, we receive wisdom and, we receive that initial healing. But the upper room is here for you if you want to be baptized in the Holy Spirit. Can you imagine the same power that you read about in the Old Testament still going with you today? Where we read in Acts where it says, young men will dream dreams and they will see visions and they will prophesy because of the Holy Spirit. It's a beautiful thing, and I think it's essential for every Christian that's walking this walk to be intuitive with the Holy Spirit. And the upper room is just a gathering where if you've been baptized, this is a place where you can freely express your gifts. If you haven't been baptized, this is a place for you to experience it for the first time. So I just want to encourage you to join us in the upper room and experience the movement and the manifestation of the Holy Spirit. Thank you guys.